Hello friend, it's Tonton, and in today's video we're gonna talk about Alliance Showdown. It is time to update the guide, mostly because of the experts, but as well with the recent change about the experts and the new Baldur guide that help us make more points and get more rewards. So we'll talk about that in a sec. When I make these kind of guides on very common events, I'm not going too much into the depths of how the event works, like the basic stuff. There are many, it's all explained in game. It's very simple. You use stuff, you make points, and you get reward for that. And there are like ranking with the alliance. So we'll talk more about how to really go with your experts and how to win as an alliance. What people do not really understand, like many players don't understand, is how you win. Monday, if you win, that's day 1, you get. Day 3, you get 2 points. In day 3, you get 3 points. Day 4, you get 2 points. Day 5, you get 2 points. So that's, 1, 2, 2, 2, 2. So that's 9 points. And then the last day, which is a day and a half, so it's Saturday plus Sunday morning, you get 4 points. So as you can see, that's 13 points. That means that if you make 7 points, your opponent cannot win. So if you win 3 days and you have 6 points, you may still lose the event. So you really need to make 7 points, and that's really important. And that's why you have some strategies to go about it. And because you just want these 7 points, you don't need to overspend, you don't need to do anything else. But that's how you win. The way it works for the reward and the win is, if you win, you are gaining 1 point, and if you lose, you are losing 1 point. So if you look at here, that the star ranking, right, that the amount of star your alliance have, and right now we have 1, it's really hard to get to 10 because, if you win one, it's every 4-week event, so it's just after SVS prep and SVS battle. So if you win 1 event and if you lose 1, you are back to 0 point, and everyone start at 1, I think, if I remember. So if you go to 2 points, next time you lose, you come back to 1. So if you have 50% win rate, you will never go up more than 1 point. And the rewards start to be good when you are really at the end, and it really takes a lot to get there. So overall, I don't find this event very rewarding. These buildings are not giving a lot of stats, even for your rally leaders. The effort to win, as soon as you start to win a few times, often your first and second match might be easy because the matchmaking is not done when you unlock the event. But as soon as you start to win 2 or 3 times, 1 or 2 times, your matchmaking is very tough. You have an as active alliance than you. You will need to start to spend a lot to win that event, and you get a bit of fire crystal gems and individual ranking. You get a bit of that building, but that's troop attack 1%. You're well at that stage. We're gonna have 2,000. Gonna have 3,000 eventually a bit later. So that's really a small thing, to be honest. So I would not sweat it. That's one of the events that I think that most alliance can skip without stressing too much. But if you care to win, that's something we will talk about. And you can see, the difference between 1 or 2 star. And in the drop down, if you had 10 stars, it starts to be a bit more. But like really being first player, you get 5 of these. You get that. It really costs a lot, to be honest, to win. So it's not one of the best events. So with that in mind, knowing that it's a 6-day event, but it's 6.5, knowing that you're gonna need to win 7 points. Let's look a bit at the Discord and one I usually prepared for you guys. So let's start with that, with kind of the overlaps, and I'll kind of cover the strategies as we go. Hopefully it's visible. It's available on the Discord as well if you need it. So you have Monday. And something to note as well is like this event always starts with a cycle of armament competition, officer project. So these are armament competition 1, officer project 1, armament competition 2, officer project 2. So these are always starting the same time as Alliance Showdown. Alliance Showdown is on a 4-week schedule, and these are on a 2-week schedule. So they always start together. So the idea behind that image and how to play Alliance Showdown is based on maximizing points in both events at once. So when do you complete your armament competition? So it's giving you points in Alliance Showdown, and it's actually helping your alliance. When do you complete your officer project? The same idea, right? So it's giving you points in Alliance Showdown. And the easy answer is the dark green. So light green is no overlapping between the events, so you can still make points. Red, it's when it's really bad, so it's the training speed-ups when you use. I mean, except on training days, training speed-ups are really bad. They really give very little points, so never finish armament competition with your training speed up. That's really stupid. That's really a bad idea. So whether it's armament competition 1 or 2, it's really bad. But overall, when you think about the strategy about Alliance Showdown, what you can do is like day 1 is only 1 point. And it's not that important because you can win 3 other days very easily that give you 2, and 4 points. So usually I kind of skip day 1. That's what I will be suggesting to someone, and push on day 2 as an alliance. And by push, not necessarily like having your people spending a lot of things, but you see you have the overlap of epic hero shards, and you have epic hero shards here as well. And that's really important to understand, because often you will have, after SVS, you will have ranked in SVS, you might have some shards from the battle, you might be a new gen, so you will want to increase your heroes, and that's one of the good ways to do armament competition. I usually suggest to just make enough points in armament competition to finish it, and that's usually either with hero shards, fire crystals, and nowadays expert. That's the 3 things I will consider using to complete armament competition. Not shift gear, no speed ups and things like that. But you can see you have fire crystals, you have hero shards, and you have experts. On day 2, you have them on both events. So that will be totally okay. If you wanted to win day 1, the overlap is fire crystal and books and sigils now for your experts. So that will be one of the things you could do nowadays is to push on day 1 if you wanted that 1 point with fire crystals and expert. But for me, and again, it's a natural push. You will teach your alliance to finish armament competition 1 day 2. And they will wait for their fire crystal. If they want to do fire crystal, they will wait for their shards and all of that. And all your alliance, so 50, 60, 70 players will complete that day 2, and that will give you such an edge. If you have a similar activity with the other alliance, you will probably lose day 1 because they will have half of the player or more using this stuff on day 1. They might have people using hero shard day 1 stupidly and not getting any point in Alliance Showdown for that. So that's the first strategy point you can do. Same idea on Wednesday and Thursday. You have your officer project and you have very little overlap day 1. You just have chief charms that overlap, and you rarely want to do your officer project with chief charm. Officer project is usually auto-completing for most of us now at that stage of the game by just running troop naturally. Else you just need to use 10 to 24 hours of training speed up. That's often the most efficient way to use it. Another efficient way is using widgets. So if you have, for example, for us, we have 200 trading stations, so we have extra widgets. We have a new generation of heroes, so I could use widget on new heroes. So that's another way. So if you just train troops for 2 days naturally, and you are missing a bit of points, I'll use, unless you are beginning of the game, you can use a tiny bit of essence stones, some widget. Mithril is totally overkill. And a bit of speed up for training, that will be good, and I will give points. So there again, you will complete officer project, push for it day 2. So you will try to win Alliance Showdown day 2 and day 4. So that's Tuesday and Thursday. That will be the way that you try to naturally push and teach your alliance to complete all of these 2 days events, armament competition, officer project day 2. And then if you win these 2, the next stage is just to win Saturday, Sunday. So you will skip Friday and you will win Saturday, Sunday, and we will look at it in a moment. If you lost one of these days, then you will have to push Friday, right? Because you will likely have lost Wednesday because you did not make any effort to win. You will likely have lost Monday because you did not make any effort to win. So, and that's probably mean that the opponent is far more active than you. Either it means that your alliance is pretty bad at following guideline and they don't know to keep, to finish their officer project and armament competition day 2. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So Friday is a day on its own in Alliance Showdown. Not much to do here. I will eventually, you might need to do a small building or like a research for Fire Crystal Shard to complete it. Overall, Alliance Showdown is a very easy event to complete. You don't have to do much to complete every day. That's why I'm focusing the strategy on Alliance Showdown based on the 2-day events. Because that's people will go out of their way to complete them, and they are a lot harder to complete. Alliance Showdown is very easy, and we will see not that easy anymore when we'll talk about it in a sec, but often you don't have to use a lot. Day 1, you just gather, and that's gonna auto-complete. Day 2, if you complete armament competition with what we talked about, you will complete it. Day 3, it's gathering again, Alliance Showdown, you will complete day 3 easily. Day 4, you're gonna train a bit, you're gonna use some widgets, you're gonna complete day 4 very easily because you are getting points for escorting and readying trucks, and we'll talk about that in a moment. Day 5, that the first day you might need to make an effort to complete it, and it will be a bit of fire crystal often because you will want to kind of keep your progression in between SVS, keeping for a month to spend all on SVS, but progressing your heroes and your building in between so you don't fall behind too much. So that's usually how I do it. I'll start a building, I'll start 1 or 2 research, on fire crystal shards, use a tiny bit of speed ups if I need to, and I'll complete that day. And so you kind of skip Friday as an alliance to win, and then you focus on Sunday and Saturday. And why? Because Saturday you have armament competition too, with an overlap of chief gear, essence stone, widget, mithril, fire crystal, speed ups. So you have a lot of things. So you can complete that armament competition too with whatever you want here. That's gonna be okay. You will have a big overlap with Alliance Showdown. That's gonna make a lot of points. And then Sunday morning, for the first 12 hours of Sunday, so from midnight UTC to 12 UTC, you have an overlap with Officer Project 2, and here you have the overlap with Hero Shards again, Chief Gear, Essence Stones, Widget, Mithril. So you will teach your alliance to, if people can, because some people might sleep in and might be family, whatever, they might not play as actively in Sunday, but if you teach your alliance to complete on Sunday morning before 12 UTC their Officer Project, because there is never any overlap on Monday on Officer Project. The next week will be their King of Icefield or SVS preparation. There is no overlap with Zero Shards, Chief Gear, Essence Stone, Widget, Mithril with these 2 events. So you don't have to wait day 2. There is no point in delaying completing Officer Project. You can complete it Sunday first thing in the morning when you log on. And that will give you a double push, natural push. And again, it does not mean any wells going crazy and spending a bunch load of items. It's just you teaching your members to play 60 people playing together, 70 people playing together, 80 people playing together. And if you do that, with a similar activity alliance that do not do that, you will win. Naturally, you will win. You don't have to make any effort. And we will look at other strategy and other points about how to win. So that's available on my Discord. The link is in the description. So going back to the game and going back to the tips about how to win. So that was the first tip. Is like push on certain days, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday morning before 12 UTC. One other strategy that is commonly used is you see we are quite ahead, but maybe they will have some wells pushing at reset. And some people that have saved. So, you will identify, make a vote, ask in your alliance to see who want to push for Alliance Showdown this time, who have a lot of items. You will find these players. Can you play at reset? Yes, you can play at reset. Okay, so you will ask them to wait until reset, and at reset, very close to reset, the last 5 minutes, they will start to use their items. So, especially if the other alliance, have a lot of European players like me, they are asleep. So they cannot counter that. So the only risk here is like you might fall against an alliance that's doing that, and you will go to like it's like a race, right, to win, and you will end up spending really a lot on Alliance Showdown, and I'm not sure it's worth it, to be honest, but that could be one strategy. It's why you lose sometimes. It's because they just have 1 or 2, 3 players with very deep bags that just complete things at reset. So that's really important to know, and that could be one thing. Something that removes a tiny bit of point, but that's very little. But if you do that all day with your alliance, it's gonna remove a lot of points. If you raid trucks, by default they get 10k per truck that arrive, and it's like 4 trucks per day per player, so that's 40k points. So if you have, let's say, 70 alliance members, that's 40k points. It's 3 million points a day. It's not that much, but it's nearly 3 million points a day with 70 members. If you burn, let's say, half of this truck, you remove a million and a half points. And, because that's every time you successfully fully burn a truck, it's removing 2.5k on these golden trucks. That's one way. It's really small at the end of the day, but, if you are really care, if you share them in Alliance chat all day, sometimes you can have someone hunting for these as well, because you always have one. So people keep their attacks. For me, no matter what, I'm always burning the opponent with my farm, which has 2 accounts in that alliance. And then if we are close to win, I'm burning their trucks with my men as well. And if we are not close to win and we are losing and we are getting crushed, then I'm just hunting for the best trucks, and overall you refresh and you look, and the best item for me are like Essence Stones are very good. I really love the XP component. I love the charm. I love the gems. I love the fire crystals. I love the pet stuff as well. And that the main, hero gear is not too bad as well. So, there are a lot of good things. And I'm trying to get trucks when I'm raiding someone that are 6 out of 8. You get up to 8 rewards, right? That's here. These are always resources that you always get. So quick trick on trucks, because people have asked me a few times. There are 8, so I'm looking for 5 or 6. If I'm in a rush, I go for 5. I used to search for 7 or 8 good one that I want. Was spending far too much time. So, that is not okay for me, because this one is low, this one is low, this one is not good, this one is bad. So 4 of them are not good, and that's 4 out of 8. So I would not read that truck. So you will find that. For example, if you look at the truck I have right now, this one, that's totally a truck I would read. Like a lot of speed ups, essence stones, and these two, it cannot be perfect. But if someone had a truck like that I could attack, I will totally do it. So that's raiding the opponent truck. Send only SSR trucks. If you are playing the game, you have the gem and everything, send only SSR trucks. It's very rare that a purple one is okay. It happened, but it's very rare. So I will send the golden one always. That will be one trick, because that's as well more points, right? When they arrive, and I'll teach you kind of how to send trucks in a sec. How do I send trucks? I wait for, you will need to adjust with your time zones, right? For me, I started around 12 to 2 UTC, so 2 p.m. UTC, 2 in the afternoon, 14 UTC. I started to send one truck. So I will pick my big march, because see, like my main march is here. And if I send a second truck, it's not my main march anymore. It's my second march. So this one is a lot weaker than the other one. So I'm picking half day, and it takes a bit less than 4 hours to send a truck. And I'm sending trucks starting half day, and sometimes up to 2 UTC. It depends a bit on my evening schedule. If I'm free in the evening, I might send them a bit later, closer to 2 UTC. And if I'm busy in the evening, I might just send that one. Because why is that? You will want to send them one by one. You will want to do 3 waves of trucks, and the 4th one, you will want to request assistance of your stronger player. So for us, that's, for example, Webster. And you can see your stronger player, if you scroll down at the bottom, how long they are assisting. So if, there are only bad player left, or like weak player left, they are not bad, but they are weaker, you can put an alarm for that 4th truck, and you will, get, because this will be gone in minutes, So that's something to do. Usually I keep my best truck, so that one I will keep it for tomorrow, for example. I've already requested assistance today, so I cannot again. So this one I'll keep it for tomorrow, because that's a truck that needs protection. And, I'll use, like, worse trucks, I'll use my own march that are a bit weaker. So you will want to send them 3 times a day, so every 4 hours if you can afford it. Because what happens is, like, if you look at reset, if you play at reset, like, older trucks are burning all the time for the first few hours. So whatever you send at reset, they will be burned. So you want your trucks to arrive initially, ideally before reset. Because at reset, they burn. What some people do on top of pushing on certain days is they send trucks the day before. So we are Monday, I'm sending truck on Monday, just before reset, or, somewhere before reset. So they arrive after reset, so they give me points the next day, right? So if you wanted to push on Tuesday, you could do that. The risk is that your truck will be raided, and that you will get half the point. But if you do not care to push on Monday as an alliance, and you care to push on Tuesday, for example, that could be totally an option. Just that your trucks will be raided, and if you play at reset, just pay attention. Your truck will be destroyed. So wait for 12, 14 hours, send them one by one with your best march, and the 4th truck you need daily, request help. So that's really important. And eventually, one of the last considerations that you might want to do is it has not to do with the strategy to win, but these buildings, like the reward for the buildings, are a lot more interesting for your rally leaders, to be honest. Like, that's for a free-to-play, it does not change anything. You might like it, you might find it cool, you might be happy with 3% more attack. It's changing literally nothing for you as a free-to-play, as a low spender. It has no impact. These few percentage of stats have nearly no impact. So maybe, consider leaving your rally leader win, to be honest. That will be a smarter decision for your alliance, because then they are accumulating percentage everywhere they can, right? One building plus the building of of packs and everywhere, and even for them it's not gonna change much. But when you have a big battle and you are losing for nothing, you're happy that your well is getting 20% more attack, because they could get you could get it from a few places like that. So that could be something you consider. So just as a small recap, you complete armament competition on day 2. So on Tuesday, the first one, you complete officer project day 2. On Thursday, you complete Armament Competition 2. On Saturday and Sunday morning, in the first 12 hours, you complete Officer Project 2. And that's really the kind of the trick of it, and that you can naturally push without threatening it. There are a few other things I wanted to show you on the Discord, and we'll talk about our friend Baldur, because that's kind of changing things a bit, right? It used to be, like I said, very, very easy to complete the daily chest. So if you look at the rewards, it used to take me, let's back in game, it used to take me 125,000 points. And you can see like raiding trucks is already a lot. Half of the points you will do with the trucks. Alliance Showdown will auto-complete nearly every day. Just Friday will need a bit of effort for me, but it auto-complete every day. But now with Expert, Baldur is giving you up to 3 chests. And but they require more points to open. So the second chest is the first chest that Baldur is adding is up to 200k points. The second one is up to 300k points, and there is a third one when Baldur is max for Alliance Showdown. That's 400k points. So that's quite that's more than 3 times the points. And Baldur is not giving you 3 times the points for Alliance Showdown. The first one you get 1 truck voucher, so that's up to 500 gems saved. When you refresh. And Sale of Conquest, which is Southern Affinity for Expert. The second one is books, 200 books, again 1 truck voucher and a bit of resources. And the last one is 2 common sigil for Expert. So I'm assuming that these are daily. So you will get, because that's every 4-week event, you can do that for 6 days. So if your Baldur's was maxed, you will get 6k of affinity. You will get 1,200 of books, and you will get 12 common sigil from that. So it's not crazy, but it's good. And as you can see, assist by an expert earned plus 30% points. So in my case, Baldur is not maxed, but he's a decent spot. So I pushed him a tiny bit before we had the event, so he supports me a bit better. That dude right here. So you will get him. You get expert around Gen 3.5. Baldur, I'm not sure when he appears. If he appears 3.5 or if Gen 3.5, or if he appears a bit later, Expert will appear with your War Academy. So that's the last skill of Baldur for the Alliance Showdown, and as you can see, it's increasing the points you earn, and you get up to 3 chests. So what is really important, I think, is to get him to level 6, which is quite easy to do. In a couple of weeks, when you unlock Baldur, you should be able to get there. I'm not going to talk too much about Baldur. He's buffing other events, but because he's buffing other events, you kind of focus a bit before the event. You focus on the skill that, buffing the event. So for me, I might try to get him to the next level by the end of the event, or I'll move on to the next one. So that's for Baldur. He buffs you a bit, and you have the screenshot about all the packs on my Discord, and that's from someone else, but you can see, that you get the 2 common sigil. Again, 1 voucher, and you get a tiny bit of speed ups, but that's 25 times 5, so that's not too bad. And something that is important to know is when to look at the whales, when they are free, so you get them helping on your best truck and keeping your best truck for your whales. But that's it for Alliance Showdown. That's what I wanted to say anyway. You can find the rest on my Discord, or you can find a written summary if you want to copy paste it to your Discord Alliance. Let me know if you have any question in the comments about the events. I used to be very excited about it. Now I find it not the best event, to be honest, because the rewards are not that compelling for me. 1 or 2% more defense or attack, again, it's not gonna change anything. I'm very surprised how people care about it somehow. We have many people that push not that much on SVS somehow, even if we're a SVS stat and we remind people to push every time, but somehow they like to push on Alliance Showdown. Please, if that's your case, let me know in the comments why. I really don't get it. The daily reward, if you win or lose, are bad. The star rewards are bad. The ranking rewards are bad, in my opinion, for what it takes to win, right? I'll totally rather push on a KOI and get 400 shards for a hero. That have so much more impact than winning Alliance Showdown. Maybe, when you are like at 3, 5 to 6 stars and you want good rewards, you want a lot of buildings, maybe you push once to really progress your buildings, but that's it. Something maybe to mention very quickly about the buildings. It's not about the event itself, but it's about the rewards. That might be good to know. This one, the truck you can improve with the mythic decoration. So this one, you don't have to stress too much. This one, is, so this one is the Alliance reward that everyone's get if you win. This one is the individual ranking reward, which is a bit harder to get. You see I've pushed one in the past, but you cannot improve it with your mythic decoration. So that the only way is to win Alliance Showdown. So if you want to progress this one, you will have to win over and over. That's why it's far better to leave it to your whale, because your whale are carrying you in battles and you will want them to have the stats. But that's all for me today. I covered the updated guide on Alliance Showdown with the expert and everything else and Baldur. Let me know in the comment if you have any question, any extra tip, everything I missed, let me know in the comment as well. Consider joining the Discord, consider subscribing, and I see you in the next one. Bye bye.